All right, I think we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Zach Bouake. I work with Tetra Tech, and I'm happy to welcome you all to our presentation this morning. Thank you to the UNC Water Institute for this great venue and forum to showcase our ideas and our results. I'd like to thank USAID for coming and representing at our session this morning. We're going to go ahead and proceed. I'd like to welcome Jules Hanchuji from Benin. Sorry, I know I just butchered that. To give our opening introduction. So thanks.
Thank you very much, Zach. Good morning, everyone. Just to let you know that English is not my first language, so I apologize if I pronounce something and it's not very good for you. Okay, thank you. As Zach said, I am very pleased this morning to take the floor on behalf of USAID States Agency for International Development, USAID, to welcome you to this side events and congratulate the UNC for hosting and organizing these events. I would like also to thank Tetra Tech and Municipal team for their efforts. All the efforts in preparing these side events. That said, let's just present an overview on Municipal activity. Okay, so the team here who will do the presentations about these side events is encompass myself, Jules Hanchuji. I am from USAID. I am based in Benin, but working with USAID West Africa. I am the contracting officer representative for Municipal activity. We have also Safa Fakorere, who is a Municipal chief of party from Tetra Tech, and Jide. Yeah, Jide, we call her Jide. Jide is very simple. She is a Municipal deputy chief of party. Okay, so I would like to talk to you a little bit about USAID West Africa. So I don't know if most of you have an opportunity to go there, but just to let you know that we have a very huge proportion of the urban and peri-urban population. And this population lacks potable water and inadequate sanitation services. We noticed that there is low rates of access to safe drinking water and sanitation. And with also the rapid urbanization, this has exacerbated the situation. And also we have limited water resources and sufficient financing and inadequate women and institutional capacity to address these challenges. It's a very big challenges for municipalities to address those challenges. The population also is keeping growing. We have 34% of West Africans lack access to safe drinking water, and 73% lack access to improved sanitation. And in West Africa, USAID is working to improve access to clean drinking water and increase access to affect behavior change in sanitation. What we are doing in USAID West Africa, we are trying to focus our activities in creating an enabling environment, including capacity building of regional WASH institutions, private sector engagement in urban and peri-urban sanitation service delivery, and improving regional communication and coordination on WASH best practices. We are working with AFWASA. AFWASA is Africa Water Association, through which we improve policy at a regional level. Our WASH programming in West Africa included two mechanisms. We have municipal water and municipal water sanitation and hygiene activity, mini WASH, which is we will talk about that during this event. And the second one is Africa Water and Sanitation Association, AFWASA, a regional institution capacity building. This is a grant, like a cooperative agreement with AFWASA. And also, as you may know, we have other cross-cutting initiative, including gender and youth and so on, human change and so on. Quick overview on WASH activity. The objective of this activity is to support city governments, national directorates and agencies, utilities and service providers in Benin and Cote d'Ivoire, and to sustain and expand citywide WASH services. So our focus is only in urban area, urban and peri-urban area. The mini WASH activities is implemented in Benin and Cote d'Ivoire, as I said previously, in collaboration with AFWASA. And for that, mini WASH targets 8 municipalities in Cote d'Ivoire and 8 also in Benin. The activity started since 2019, and we are close to the end of that. On September 2024, the activity will be closed. So as a geographic area, you can see that in In Côte d'Ivoire, we are working in 8 municipalities, as I said, and these are the locations. In Benin, we are working also in 8 municipalities. These are the locations. All of these municipalities are located in the south. No, in the south, only in the south. What about the intermediate results? So we have 4 intermediate results to implement the objective of Mini-Watch. We are focusing on 4 intermediate results. The first one is to improve financial sustainability and private sector investment in watch public services. This led us to work with financial institution and also how to engage private sector to invest in watch. And also the IR2, for that we work to enhance operational reliability of public service watch service provider. Our focus is a capacity building to help them play more their role and improve service delivery. And the third IR is to improve municipal management and governance. This also is a technical assistance to improve municipal management, municipal governance and management for oversight to oversight watch service delivery, and to also expand access to industrial poor and industrial population. And the third and the fourth one is to strengthen learning and knowledge sharing at the regional level in partnership with APWASA. For USAID, learning is very important. So our effort is by strengthening the learning, we can also expand the best practices and the lesson learned from Mini-Watch activity. So this is the key thing I would like to share with you before introducing SAFA. SAFA is a Mini-Watch chief of party. So we pick out. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for attention. I apologize for my pronunciation.
Thanks, everyone. I think this Jules' apology will not be the last one today. I'm also a French native speaker, and I can just help it. Sometimes when I'm making the presentation, you hear some French word. I asked my colleague Zach when we were preparing the presentation to put as much text as possible so that I don't lose my audience if that happens. So my name is Safa Fakure. I'm the chief of party for the USAID Mini-Watch project. I'm coming from Ivory Coast, and it's a great pleasure being here today. In Ivory Coast, when we have not seen someone for a long time, we say it has been 2 days, even if it's a year, even if it's 5 years. So, ça fait 2 jours. Ça fait 2 jours. It has been 2 days, so it's a real pleasure being here today and being back at the conference today. We thank the UNC for organizing this conference. We thank USAID for the support, and we thank all the participants to this event. My presentation this morning is about amplifying business opportunity for the private sector in Wash in Cote d'Ivoire. We have a study case of 2 cities, Pedro and Bouake. This is the structure of my presentation. I will not go through the detail. You can, but I'll start with the introduction and finish with the result. And these are the various parts of the presentation. So let's start. Regarding the objective of this session, of this presentation, is to understand the background of the mini-wash systems approach. We implement the system approach in the project, and we are going to talk about that system approach today. We'll discuss the approach, the implementation of the approach in Bouake and San Pedro, and learn about the result and the recommendation. Why do we implement a system strengthening approach? As we know, a strong enabling environment is critical to sustain the services and to catalyze the private sector investment in WASH. So to do that, we are working on enhancing all the various blocks of the system strengthening approach. So we are working on a strong institution, strong policy, good planning, attract finance into the sector, strong regulation, efficient operation and services, gender and social inclusion, and putting in place a monitoring system, a functional monitoring system. And the last component is about learning, as Jules just said in his presentation, is a very key component for the project and for USAID. So mini-wash is increasing the private sector opportunities by facilitating the municipal collaboration framework that foster a favorable business environment. We are putting in place this and working in all these blocks to create an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. This presentation is focusing on the private sector. How are we helping the private sector? We have other activities, but the presentation I'm making today is how we're helping the private sector. And with all these blocks, this is helping the private sector is touching 3 blocks. The first one is the finance. How do we work with the financial sector to accompany the private sector? And the second one for operation and services is the work we do with the entrepreneur, the small entrepreneur. The last one is the gender and social inclusion. Under the gender and social inclusion, we are supporting the gender and social inclusion. And today, the presentation has a focus on through the gender and social inclusion is what we are targeting. Who we are targeting is the female entrepreneur. And there is a presentation after my presentation by Gide. She will delve and provide more insight on the gender support we are providing for the female entrepreneur in the project. So why is a strong system necessary? The objective is really to increase the resiliency of external to withstand external factor. So we need a strong system because there are some factors that can impact the services. And those factors, the 3 key factors we have are the climate change, conflict, and economic inequality. When we are talking about climate change in Cote d'Ivoire and in the area where of the study case, San Pedro is the coastal area, so it's affected by erosion. And with climate change, it's really a big issue at this time. And we also have with the climate change, the change in rainfall pattern. And that also is increasing the flooding, increasing the water table. So it's really affecting the services, impacting, damaging the infrastructure. in those cities. Regarding the conflict aspect, we can talk about the instability in the Sahel. The Sahel region is at the north, is directly at the north of Cote d'Ivoire. So there potentially, in case of if the conflict continue to spread, is potentially we can face movements of people moving from the north of the country, coming to the south area like San Pedro and Bouake. And the system has been in those cities will be overwhelmed. They're already weak and poor, but they're going to be overwhelmed. The last one is the economic inequality for the poor, the vulnerable people, and they are subject to economic shock, which can create further disparity. We've seen that with the COVID. We've seen that with the inflation, with the war in Iraq. We also see that with the change, the fluctuation of the currency. So those are really factors that can why a strong system is needed. So why in San Pedro? Why in Bouake? The first reason is that those two cities has recently completed fecal sludge treatment plant. The second one is that they have all the necessary elements for sanitation service chain, confinement, transport, and treatment. They are part of the few cities in Cote d'Ivoire with the fecal sludge treatment plant, operational and functional treatment plants at this time. There are only 3 cities in Cote d'Ivoire. Even at the capital, at this time, there is no fecal sludge treatment plant as such. So it's helping the government to make those infrastructures successful is key, because they are the first one. Making sure and helping the government to make them successful is key to attract more investments in the sector. And the last one is that we have an established political engagement through our work with the municipalities. I will provide more detail on how we secure that political engagement. That this tied to the conversation we have been hearing in this conference. During the preliminary session and in some of the sessions where that I attended, the political will was identified really as a key element to make changes in the sector. So MuniWash designed a collaborative, data-driven, and transparent approach to support the planning and budgeting of wash services while identifying business opportunity for the private sector in those 2 cities. The objective was to increase the interest of the private sector by presenting wash as a business opportunity. Wash is usually seen as making the shift in the mind of the officials to see wash as the business opportunity is really key. So we use 3 foundational pillars to do that. The first one is the creating a municipal collaboration framework. This comes from the because we were able to establish the political engagement through the implementation of the institutional strengthening tool. The institutional strengthening tool is a tool that we apply and support with the municipality to help the municipality make their own self-assessment of their functions, of how they perform with their various key functions. And because it's a self-assessment and the municipalities were able to have that dialogue internally and also rate themselves and the assessment, it was not an assessment come from outside, but because it was internal, it's been a very powerful tool that we use with the municipality. So the municipality, and that creates from the institutional strengthening tool, they each municipality put in place an institutional strengthening plan, and that really creates the political engagement to change a lot of things between the way the municipalities are currently operating. The second one pillar is data utilization. So we took advantage of GIS to map, to help the municipalities to map the needs to geographically map the needs in the territory. And so it helps them to really know what is the coverage, what is the level of coverage in the various areas of the municipality in terms of water and in terms of sanitation, and to know also where the infrastructure are located, what is the extent of the current infrastructure. And based on the findings from the GIS map and the evaluation of the needs, we help the municipality to develop a cost need assessment to cost what will be required to satisfy the need to extend the services in all the area where without service or with low service. So to create the system, the strong system, this is the actors that we are working with. We work with the prefecture, we work with the municipalities, we work with the various regional directorates of the sectorial ministries involved in the water and sanitation services. We work with the utility, the sanitation utility, the water utility. We work with the microfinance institution. We work with the entrepreneur, with the civil society organization, and with the media. How do we tie this actor, working with this actor, with the blocks, the systems block? I will go through and show how we do that. So building strong institutions come from the fact that we are working with the actors, with these institutions. So we reinforce their capacity. We help for the policy to put strong policies in place. That is done through the prefecture who take ordinances. We also work with the municipalities who take decrees to regulate the sanitation services. That's how we put in place strong policies. In terms of planning, we help the municipality to put in place the planning, the 10-year planning, the 3-year budget, and also the annual budget. With we help them to take in account the wash services in the planning. In terms of finance, we have public finance coming from the government, but we also have the private sector with the microfinance institution. Okay. For regulation, we work with the entity mandated to regulate the sector to also reinforce the capacity. In terms of operation, we work with the utilities, the water utility, the sanitation utility, but also with the entrepreneur, the vacuum truck operator, and the sanitation service supplier. In terms of monitoring, the monitoring aspect is taken account with the civil society, but also with the utility and the various institutions. The learning part, we reinforce the learning through the media, the Chamber of Commerce, and also with the various directories. So this is the system. This is the enabling environment. But like I've said, this presentation here is focusing on the private sector. And in this slide, for this actor, the two actors that we are reinforcing are This comes with the work with the private sector, comes with the microfinance institution, and also with the entrepreneur. Those are the two actors. Battery truck operator and the sanitation product supplier. So I'll talk more about the municipal collaboration framework itself. The prefect, we work with the prefecture, and the prefect took a decree to establish a formal coordination mechanism to promote the wash support to the wash sector. And like we said from the beginning, the objective is to see wash as a business opportunity. And that was key in the creation of the collaboration framework. The key function of the collaboration framework in that decree is the quarterly meetings of the stakeholder. The actors are listed in the previous slide, meet on quarterly basis to discuss the wash-related issue. We also work with the actor to understand the role and responsibility. One key activity with the collaboration framework was a new water code the government adopted a new water code, and we help each of the actors in the collaboration framework to understand the role and responsibility, what has changed, and what is the objective, and what they should do differently. We also put together a 10-year, we support them to put together a 10-year municipal plan based on the mapping of the needs, based on the cost need assessment, and who will be responsible for what. So they put a 10-year plan, and now they are advocating and working with the municipality and the government, the national government, to put in place to implement the plan. The geographic, the GIS mapping needs, I already talked about it. This is, for example, a map of that we support the actors have put together, which give them a clear a visual distribution, special distribution of the needs at the municipality level. But the collaborative framework also meets on emergency response coordination. So when there is a need, an emergency need, the prefects also call them to discuss. Apart from the quarterly stakeholder meeting, we have the emergency response meeting as well. So what are the other outcomes and activity of the collaborative framework? With the work with the collaborative framework, we succeed to increase the utilization of the fecal sludge treatment plant in San Pedro from 20% to around 80 to 90%. The structure was built, but it was hardly used. So working with all the actors, putting all the actors together, we succeed to increase the use of the treatment plant. Starting to working with the entrepreneur to ensure that they are not dumping the sludge, because they were used before the construction of the treatment plant. They used to dump the sludge in waterways. So working really with all the actors now that they have to pay, and ensuring that each actor plays his role was really key to obtain that result. In Bouake, we are work on an advocacy for the construction of the second treatment plant. What happened in Bouake was that the fecal treatment plant was built, and within a short period of time, with all the work that we carry out with the actors, the plant has, the plant it's now working at its capacity, and another treatment plant is needed. And we work at the national level on advocacy for construction of the second treatment plant. We also work within the framework to establish a dumping fee for the entrepreneur. Like I said, they were not in the culture of paying fees to dump the Ficus Lodge. It was built on the price. So to convince them, or also to put in place regulation and to enforce those regulations for with the entrepreneur, with the vacuum truck operators was also key. We also work with the local police, the traffic police, the entrepreneur, the vacuum truck entrepreneur were complaining of a lot of harassment on the way to the Ficus Lodge treatment plant, on the way in and back from the Ficus Lodge treatment plant, because the traffic police will also, I mean, it's like the tax, the traffic police will always take something from them, will require them to pay something. So we work with the police, with the mayor, with the entrepreneur, and we were able to really curb and stop the police harassing the Ficus Lodge vacuum truck. So we continue to work with the municipalities through the ISI tool, and we improve the collaboration between the service provider and the municipality. This is a picture of a quarterly meeting, one of the quarterly meetings organized in San Pedro. So all the actors are present to discuss on quarterly basis. So that's what we are doing to create an enabling environment. And at the same time that we are creating an enabling environment with all the actors, the system strengthening, simultaneously, we are also building the capacity of the entrepreneur, of the local entrepreneur. So the following slides are going to be focused on the support we are providing to the private sector. We are providing to the entrepreneur through putting in place performance improvement plan. We're also carrying out field coaching and providing them with equipment for the new enterprises to start, and supporting new MT company to those cities to operate in those cities. During the course of this year, we were able to assist 19 MSMEs in Cote d'Ivoire to improve the administrative, organizational, financial, and operational management, and to help them to formalize. Mini-Wash for the private sector support is also enhancing the market for sanitation products and services by empowering the entrepreneurs to establish sales team and to strengthen the relationship with the community business provider. So what we are doing here is we're using a method called the RACE method for demand creation, to help the entrepreneur to recruit sales agents and to support the demand creation and to improve the sales. RACE mean results equal attitude plus competence plus effort. So it's a methodology that we use, and it has yield a lot of good results. Another support we are providing to the private sector is around the Satopan. We know it's a great product, but in Cote d'Ivoire, it's difficult to bring in country. It's not easy to get, and it's not easy to build a sustainable model around it because of that. So we coordinate with the USAID partnership for better living activity to support the local supply chain for reliable import of Satopan in Cote d'Ivoire. And we also support the company actually responsible in Cote d'Ivoire to distribute to the MSMEs in Cote d'Ivoire. So there are several issues were identified with that company, and we work and support the company to make a reorganization of the sales team, to provide direct line to the entrepreneur, and also to specify delivery and transport terms that are clear and agreeable to all parties. So what are the results of those of putting in place the system strengthening and also supporting the private sector? With this technical assistance to the municipality in prioritizing the wash activities in the planning and budgeting, combined with national level advocacy, it has resulted in a significant increase on budget allocated for expanding the water services at the city level. To date, more than 1.3 US million have been allocated in Côte d'Ivoire for wash service expansion within the municipalities, in the budget of the municipalities. So that's an increased state. And more than 31,000 individuals have received improved sanitation service quality. And the sanitation service providers have generated sales totaling more than 27 million CFA in Côte d'Ivoire for this year. So those are the numbers, the indicators. We can talk about the numbers, the indicators. But we think the most important and the purpose of mini wash is sustainability. Putting in place a system that will not rely on USAID assistance. I think that's really the key and the most important is to have a sustainable system to support the wash services that engage with both the public and the private sector and also the civil society. That's the end of the presentation. And I will finish with a testimony from the mayor of Gagnoa, which summarized really the approach and the objective and also the result. And after the mayor of Gagnoa, we prepare a short video of 7 minutes that will give, we will give the voice. You hear from the partners on the collaborative framework, the various partners, some of the partners in the collaborative framework. We prepare a short video. We were not able to bring them here. Unfortunately, they were not able to make it to this conference. So we prepare a short video to give them a voice. So this is what the mayor of Gagnoa has said. He said that this tool has allowed us to liaise with the line ministry, build trust with the people within the municipality, and have data and decision-making that can be shared. It brought awareness and allow us to take initiative. We need to use this tool nationwide. So the video will reinforce this quote from the mayor of Ghana. So thank you all for your attention.
Le système d'assainissement de San Pedro est largement dépassé. Construite depuis 1970, cette ville s'est accrue et aujourd'hui le système mis en place est désuet. Beaucoup de difficultés, des problèmes d'assainissement, des problèmes hydrauliques.
Problème d'assainissement, problème hydraulique, tel est le quotidien de beaucoup de villes en Afrique de l'Ouest. Afin d'aider à résoudre ces difficultés, Tetra Tech met en œuvre en Côte d'Ivoire le projet eau, hygiène et assainissement des municipalités en Afrique de l'Ouest, encore appelé MuniWash. De 2019 à 2024, ce projet, qui est financé par l'Agence des États-Unis pour le développement international, intervient dans 8 municipalités de la Côte d'Ivoire, à savoir Abengourou, Yopougon, Abobo, Bouake, Yamoussoukro, Soubré, Gagnoa et San Pedro. Faisons un tour dans la ville de San Pedro. Comme ce fut le cas dans toutes les autres zones d'intervention du projet, un cadre de concertation piloté par la mairie et présidé par le préfet a été mis en place afin de mettre ensemble toutes les structures qui gèrent les questions d'eau et d'assainissement et que ces derniers fassent de ces questions une priorité.
Donc, avec l'arrivée du projet Mini-Wash, nous avons pu bénéficier de certains outils tels que l'EASY, qui nous a permis d'avoir une boussole, qui nous a permis de savoir où est-ce qu'on va, surtout d'où nous venons. Donc à partir de ce moment-là, nous avons jugé utile d'avoir un cadre de concertation.
On ne savait pas exactement les quartiers qui souffraient réellement des problèmes d'assainissement et d'eau. On avait une idée, mais on n'avait pas les vrais chiffres et réalités. Aujourd'hui, grâce au projet Mini-Wash, on a pu faire une cartographie où on sait exactement les zones de la ville qui ont un assainissement médiocre, et qui ont un bon assainissement, qui ont des problèmes d'eau. Et nous avons les raisons pour lesquelles ces problèmes-là existent.
Pour le directeur régional de l'assainissement de San Pedro, grâce au projet Mini-Wash et plus particulièrement grâce au cadre de concertation qui a été mis en place, des solutions ont été apportées à plusieurs défis liés aux questions d'eau et d'assainissement dans sa localité.
Déjà, depuis la mise en œuvre du cadre de concertation, nous avons eu de bons résultats, en ce sens que le cadre de concertation a permis à la station de traitement de boues de vidange à bien fonctionner. Nous avons beaucoup plus de potage, nous sommes pratiquement à 80%, 90% de nos objectifs. Donc, c'est pour dire que le cadre a vraiment un sens à San Pedro et nous voulons que Mini-Wash pérennise le cadre de concertation.
Les systèmes utilisés par les ménages n'étaient pas bons. Donc il fallait encore approvisionner ces ménages-là de systèmes adéquats, de bonnes fosses septiques, avec du bon matériel utilisé dans des toilettes, afin que la vidange puisse se faire vraiment facilement. Donc nous avons encore sensibilisé ces vendeurs de matériel d'assainissement et ces ouvriers, les maçons et autres qui ont l'habitude de faire les fosses septiques. Nous avons même formé à la construction d'une fosse septique dans les normes.
L'une des 4 composantes du projet Mini-Wash, afin d'atteindre les objectifs de l'USAID au secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement en Côte d'Ivoire, concerne la mobilisation des investissements privés dans ce domaine. Ainsi, des opportunités d'investissement dans ce secteur ont été mises en avant par le cadre de concertation en collaboration avec la COPEC, qui est une structure de microfinance.
Vous voyez que les vidangeurs, ils ont des camions un peu vétustes pour vidanger, et ces camions ne peuvent pas vraiment vidanger. On a besoin d'hydrocureurs pour vidanger les fosses un peu plus profondes, et ils ont besoin de financement. Un camion peut coûter de 80 millions, 100 millions. Et donc, la COPEC s'est engagée à pouvoir financer les vidangeurs. Donc, nous pensons que c'est le lieu d'inviter d'autres secteurs, d'autres privés, à pouvoir nous rejoindre dans le cadre de concertation pour que nous puissions faire face aux défis qui sont de plus en plus grands.
Ce projet Mini-Wash est un grand défi pour nous, puisque ça nous a permis, en tout cas, de résoudre certains problèmes. Mais les problèmes restent encore d'acuité ici à San Pedro. Nous voulons un renforcement de ce projet à plus grande échelle pour que nous puissions avoir un meilleur assainissement ici à San Pedro. La ville est en train de grandir. Il faut que ces projets puissent suivre pour pouvoir permettre aux populations de mieux vivre.
Pour M. Safa Fakorede, directeur du projet Mini-Wash, tous ces résultats positifs ont été obtenus notamment grâce à une implication sans relâche de toutes les parties prenantes, y compris le bailleur de fonds qui est l'USAID.
Et nous saluons aussi l'engagement des différentes parties prenantes au projet, à savoir les municipalités pour leur engagement, un engagement constant les petites et moyennes entreprises pour leur volonté de s'améliorer, de contribuer au bien-être des populations en Côte d'Ivoire.
Tous ceux qui ont travaillé, nous disons infiniment merci à l'USAID d'avoir choisi San Pedro pour ce projet. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, je pense que nous tenons le bon bout pour pouvoir résoudre le problème de l'assainissement. C'est une reconnaissance que nous avons.
Okay, thank you for that. We were going to have a quick Q&A session after this first part of the presentation, but we're running short on time. So we're going to have the second part of our session. Ms. Jide Adisoda, who's the Deputy Chief of Party of Miniwash, go into more detail about the work that we're doing in gender with the private sector. And then we'll take questions at the end.
Thank you, Zach. My name is Adisoda Yajide. I'm Deputy Chief of Party of Miniwash. I come from Benin. And as our predecessor, my apologies if my pronunciation is very bad. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to share with you Miniwash experience concerning challenges and opportunities for women entrepreneurs in Benin sanitation sector. I will do my presentation with this point: the objective, background, methodology, context, challenge, opportunities, and areas of intervention. What about objective? We have three objectives in this communication. The first is to identify the challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in the sanitation sector in Benin. The second objective is to highlight the various opportunities available to women entrepreneurs in sanitation and to discuss recommendations and next steps to incorporate gender in wash system strengthening. On this system, I'm going to talk about specific gender and social inclusion. What is Miniwash methodology? The first step is literature review to understand gender issue in the water and sanitation. The second step is we did institutional and strategic analysis. And the third is we gathered information on business operation from women entrepreneurs. We organized individual interview with 20 women watch entrepreneurs, and we process data collected. Concerning context of this communication, you know, the wash private sector is dominated by men in Benin. Women entrepreneurs generally do not play a leading role, nor do they own the companies. We notice low participation of women as operators and technicians of sanitation services and products. And the sector offers market opportunities but women are underrepresented despite the strong presence in women's entrepreneurship. Women involved in other business like trade. We have 3 challenges facing women entrepreneurs. The first challenge is the social cultural challenges. In this case, we noted resistance to acceptance of women private entrepreneurs in the water and sanitation sector. We noted men and other members of society do not accept women in the field because they consider it to be a male activity. The second challenge in discussing men's perception that these women challenge their authority, and the third is traditional roles assigned to women in society limited them to domestic, educational, and other functions. The second challenge is economic and financial challenges. We noted limited access to financing and working capital, and women, it's very difficult to women to obtain financing because they often have no loan to use of collateral. And lack of access and capital as collateral for loans, and lack and credit hinders investment and market penetration. The last challenge is institutional and organizational. There are complex procedure and red tape hinder the creation and management of business, and predominance of informal sector among women entrepreneurs. And I said women trade and engage in other activities in the informal sector. And the last is unequal treatment by administrative agents, lack of legal provision to promote to the specific needs of women entrepreneurs. Fortunately, we have many opportunities that women can use to grow this business. And what are these opportunities? Social norms are changing to support female entrepreneurs to enter the workforce. The second opportunity is success stories become replica models, fostering the emergence of female talent. We can use the female models in the field to give an example to other women and encourage them to enter the sector. Gender policy capacity building promotion of female-led micro-enterprise as sources of motivation. Benin now has a gender policy that promotes gender equality, and Municipal also strengthen the capacity of women. And women entrepreneurs collaborate to access financial resources and strengthen professional network. This picture, the first picture, no, yes, in my right, no left. It is only manager women vacuum truck entrepreneur. And this picture, it is one of the few female entrepreneur working in the construction of sanitation products. So, what does Municipal do for these women entrepreneurs? The first step, Municipal organize identification of female, micro, small, medium enterprise in project location. And after this step, we organize gender and leadership training for female sanitation entrepreneurs and workers. And we facilitate gender focal points with technical wash sector association and municipality. Mini-wash did adapting local management coaching for women entrepreneurs. We provide follow-up coaching after training and support them and give advice for management. And there is another point, another point is we also talk to the husband to support them to manage their business. Okay, thank you, everybody. It is I end my presentation with a happy woman during the training, leader training, female leader training leadership. Thank you very much. Now I invite you to watch movie.
Au Bénin, les femmes constituent 51,5% de la population totale, mais leur représentation dans la population active se limite à 36%. Cette disparité est persistante dans le secteur de l'eau et de l'assainissement, où l'inclusion des femmes n'est pas effective. Les barrières sociales entravent leur accès aux mêmes opportunités commerciales que les hommes, freinant ainsi le développement du secteur.
Au commencement, ce n'était pas facile pour moi, mais avec le temps, j'ai pris le goût et puis je suis à l'aise dedans. Parce qu'il faut se lever tôt de la maison, faire les travaux domestiques, être sur le site, travailler. Le soir, tu vas encore retourner à la maison et commencer les travaux de la maison. C'est vrai, c'est les travaux des hommes. Mais de nos jours, ça n'empêche pas ce que les hommes font là. Les femmes aussi peuvent faire.
Face à cette situation préoccupante, il était devenu impératif pour le Bénin et la Côte d'Ivoire d'exploiter le vivier de talents que constituent les femmes pour mieux impacter le secteur de l'eau, de l'assainissement et de l'hygiène, ainsi que le développement de l'ensemble du pays. Ceci afin d'éviter de maintenir une part importante de la population en marge de ce secteur vital en raison de normes sociales restrictives.
L'accès à l'eau et à l'assainissement est un droit humain fondamental reconnu par les Nations Unies. Et il est démontré aussi que quand on implique les femmes et les hommes dans des projets de développement liés à l'eau et à l'assainissement, on obtient de meilleurs résultats. C'est ce qui a amené MuniWash à introduire l'inclusion et le genre, l'inclusion sociale et le genre dans ses activités.
L'étude réalisée par le projet d'eau et d'assainissement pour les municipalités en Afrique de l'Ouest, USAID MuniWash, financé par l'USAID au Bénin et en Côte d'Ivoire, a confirmé que la participation des femmes au développement demeure limitée dans tous les secteurs, y compris celui du secteur WASH. L'analyse des récits de vie d'une vingtaine de femmes a permis de mieux appréhender les obstacles socio-culturels, économiques et financiers, institutionnels et réglementaires, entravant leur participation au développement du secteur WASH.
Les femmes rencontrent des défis économiques et financiers et il faut relever déjà que ces défis constituent en fait un frein au développement de leur potentiel vers une autonomisation économique et sociale. Nous avons constaté et compris que le non-accompagnement ou l'absence des époux constitue une pesanteur majeure à l'émergence et au développement des entreprises, donc des femmes.
Afin de répondre efficacement à cette problématique majeure, USAID MuniWash, qui prend en compte l'inclusion et la participation des femmes dans toutes ses interventions, a entrepris des actions pour permettre aux femmes de saisir les opportunités qu'offre ce secteur au Bénin.
USAID MuniWash, nous avons mis en place pour lever ces obstacles-là, un processus de renforcement de capacité continue, donc d'amélioration continue de leur capacité, notamment en gestion d'entreprise. Et nous avons, entre autres, accompagné ces femmes à pouvoir élaborer et tenir donc des registres. Et cela, entre autres, a permis d'améliorer la traçabilité des flux d'argent à leur niveau pour pouvoir les aider à améliorer la gestion donc, financière au sein de leur entreprise. Nous avons également, pour lever ces obstacles économiques, d'ordre économique, nous avons travaillé avec elles à la détermination, donc à l'estimation des coûts pour mieux déterminer, pour mieux comprendre et connaître la rentabilité de leurs activités.
La stratégie d'amélioration des performances des entreprises féminines dans le secteur WASH développé a permis d'obtenir des résultats probants avec des femmes désormais mieux aguerries avec les nouvelles connaissances acquises et un leadership devenu effectif pour mieux entreprendre.
Municipal a beaucoup fait pour nous. Ils nous invitent à des formations, ils nous rendent visite aussi. Ils nous ont appris, après le vidange, comment nettoyer les lieux, comment faire pour les déchets solides qui sont dedans. Tout cela, ils nous ont appris beaucoup. Sur le terrain, ça a bien changé parce qu'avant, quand on fait les travaux, on ferme, on laisse. Maintenant, pour la propreté, pour l'hygiène, ils nous ont appris comment faire et ça nous a beaucoup aidé dans le travail. Parce que le travail, avant, n'était pas comme on le disait, mais maintenant, c'est un travail bien soigné, propre. Et nous-mêmes, en tant que chose-là, vidangeuse, on doit faire quoi? On doit se protéger. La manière de s'habiller, de se protéger, ils ont tous nous appris ça.
Actuellement, ça a changé ma vie. Ça a changé ma vie parce que jusqu'au fin du mois, au moins, je paie 30 000 francs de bénéfices. Et puis, j'ai acheté une parcelle dedans. Ce n'est pas difficile et ni aussi ce n'est pas facile. Mais tout ce que les hommes font là, de nos jours, les femmes aussi peuvent faire. Nous sommes ici à bras ouverts, on va les accueillir.
L'intégration du genre dans le secteur WASH et plus particulièrement dans Muni WASH permet l'accès de toutes les couches sociales aux services d'eau et d'assainissement, quel que soit leur âge, leur origine, leur situation géographique. De plus, ceci permet également l'amélioration de la santé, la réduction des inégalités dans la communauté pour une construction d'une société plus juste et équitable.
Loin d'être une fatalité, le défi de la faible représentation des femmes peut être relevé avec l'appui à la professionnalisation et à l'accès au financement afin de contribuer efficacement au développement du secteur WASH. L'expérience de MuniWash en cours aura prouvé qu'une bonne stratégie permettant de valoriser le potentiel des femmes constitue un tremplin pour atteindre plus rapidement l'accès universel à l'eau et à l'assainissement.
Okay, thank you for that. Jide. So now we heard from Cote d'Ivoire first, and then we heard from Benin, which is the two countries that MuniWash covers. We're just going to finish here with some recommendations and next steps, and then we're going to call up the presenters to have some Q&A for the last 15 minutes. And so, one second here. So recommendations and next steps from what we've learned, professionalization, formalizing the various private sector supporters with an enabling environment has shown to be very powerful and successful for what we've been seeing in our results. Scaling up the support tools for better governance, like the collaboration framework, we find to be a very useful tool and again, producing results. Continuing to strengthen the private sector players in this form of professionalization, formalization, getting them into the sector so they can access finance is critical. Increased awareness in the financial sector. We continue to work with microfinance institutions and commercial banks on educating for lending opportunities and showing that there is real profit to be made in the private wash sector. And then supporting initiatives to create a favorable environment for female entrepreneurs. Like Jide said, it's a real challenge. You know, clearly having just one vacuum truck entrepreneur owner in Benin and having one owner of products in Benin that, you know, that we work with is very few, you know, so the challenges are real there, but continuing to support those initiatives. And with that, we're going to close the presentation part of this. I'll ask Jules to come up and take questions, and Safa and Jide, if you want to come up, and then the room is set up for us to hear you, even in the back. So if you have a question, you can just you can say it, and we should be able to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zach. This is, as Zach said, this is the clinic. So then to receive question from me. Thank you. I'm here to take your question. Je vais que les maçons aussi. Je vais pas répondre aux questions. Des questions pour toi.
I've got a clarification and then I'll have a couple of follow-ups. So on the Benin intervention, you about 20 women entrepreneurs. So they were providing both products, they were selling products and empty services, or was it focused on just products? Because I saw the video with like some empty also.
Do you have other questions, or do you want to take them one by? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to understand that in the video it was mentioned that the private operators took the trucks from for the financing from the microfinance institutions. So did it have any impact on the legal charges which the households would be paying for entering the separate times for them to repay to the microfinance? So I do understand that.
Great, okay. And maybe we'll take one more.
Yeah, I had a related question. I'm Sarah from CARE. CARE also works in the sanitation and waste management sector in Bouake. And so I think one of the challenges we've encountered also is in unlocking access to finance for entrepreneurs. And so I'm curious, I saw that there was equipment provision in the presentation, but I'd be curious about also to hear more about the relationship with Cote. So did you negotiate lower interest rates? Did you create new financial products? We're thinking through similar challenges. So I'd love to hear more.
Great, okay. Maybe we'll stop at those three, and then you guys can think about more questions. Safa, do you want to take the first one?
The first one about the MTL and the product. So in Benin, we are working with both. We're working with both the entrepreneur, the small enterprises on the sanitation product. So we introduce new product, and at the end, we are working with all the entrepreneurs along the value chain. So we reinforce the capacity of those entrepreneurs. The women who was fabricating the toilet, she's a mason. So she sells those products and install them. But for the vacuum, for the sanitation services, for the vacuum truck, is a different type of operator. So we have our intervention is tailored. The intervention is really tailored to each of those professions. So the women entrepreneur is the only one in the whole of Benin to own. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So the women entrepreneur in the video is the only one in the whole, in the entire country, who own a truck and who has an enterprise on the sanitation service.
We have other women working in the sector, but they are not leading the companies. They sometimes has administrative position in the companies, but as leader, we only have that.
Anything else to add? And then the question about the microfinancing. So working with COPEC and
relationship with,
yeah.
with COPEC.
Okay. Regarding the relationship with COPEC and in general with the microfinance, because the collaborative framework is working with COPEC. MuniWash is working with other microfinance institutions. And the microfinance institution we are currently working with is called FINAL. The target is the core of the target are the women. That's why it's called FINAL, Finance for Women. L is women in French. So what are we doing with to support the sector? What we noticed at the beginning of the project is that there were several interventions before MuniWash, where guarantee fund was provided to the microfinance institution. And once the projects are end, the product, the financial product usually stop. We noticed that the same result in Benin, the same in Cote d'Ivoire. So we decided this time to approach it differently on a sustainable aspect, to see how we can work with those microfinance institutions, and how, without putting in place a guarantee fund, how we can work and ensure that sustainability is included in the design of the approach. So we put in place with COPEC, and in Benin, we work with 2 microfinance institutions, and in Cote d'Ivoire, we work with 1 microfinance institution. So what we are, the agreement we signed with those microfinance institutions is to negotiate with the agency in charge of the microfinance institution in Benin and in Cote d'Ivoire for that entity to provide a lower interest rate for targeted to wash products. And in Benin, we succeed to put in place that collaboration with the Fond National, the National Fund for Microfinance, and the fund, which is a government fund. They agree on for this first year to put 500 million. A fund that they're going to give to the microfinance institutions at a lower rate to allow them to finance the sector. So they are targeting, the microfinance institution will target the put in place products for the household, but they are going also to support the entrepreneurs. For the entrepreneur, we have 2 types of entrepreneur. We have the sanitation product entrepreneur, who really needs, the microfinance is adapted to the needs because they are small and micro enterprises. And in the other hand, for the vacuum truck operator, the microfinance is not really tailored to their needs. The support that COPEC is giving and the microfinance is able to give to the vidanger at this point, to the vacuum truck operator at this point, is really on providing them funds for repairs, not for the replacement of the assets. For the replacement of the assets, we are still working and exploring with the government and with the commercial bank, but we have not. We didn't have any traction to date. So it's still an issue that is in place in Benin. So that's the context and what we are doing between how we are supporting the sector to access funds.
Great, thanks, Safa. Other questions? Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Jeff. I ran for my opinion. My knowledge about this industry is that it is a bit tricky on two fronts. One, it is the transportation business that has got no return cargo. So you take cargo one way, and therefore the distance in terms of where the treatment works are really has got a significant influence on what the fees we're charging are. And this possibly has got a negative, may have a negative impact in terms of the practices that the exhausters are, in terms of, we have seen in some cases crude dumping happen because they do not want to cover the entire distance. In other cases, we have also seen the introduction of transfer stations so that you minimize the distance. I missed part of the video of travel, but I just want to know how have we been able to mitigate against the distances to the treatment plants so as to be able to have an impact on the fees that you're going to charge. And how do you deal with possibilities of crude dumping? I heard that you're working with the police. You're the first guys I've had who have been able to convince the police not to take bribes. How do you do it?
Okay, thank you. One more question.
I didn't believe that. I was going to ask that, but related to that, we also saw treatment plant optimization, utilization gone up to 80%. Does that do anything in terms of the cost efficiency of the treatment plant? So just trying to understand the full system economics.
That's a good question. Okay.
I'm not sure. I get that question.
Cost efficiency of treatment plants.
Did that increase with the
utilization?
With the utilization.
Any other questions? Okay. Oh, yes.
Just a quick one, but if you're implementing the project in both Benin and Cote d'Ivoire, I'm very curious to know the differences in implementation, whether it's easier or you face different challenges in other countries.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start maybe with the transportation question.
Okay. Thanks, Japheth, for the question. That's a very good question. I should say that regarding the distance at this point, because the two cities where we are working are not that big at this time. The fecal sludge treatment plants are also not far from the city. It's something that obviously as the city will develop, we are even concerned that the treatment plant will end up being in the middle of the city. It's currently not far. It's not very far from the industrial. It's within the industrial zone. So, but right after the industrial zone, there are people start to settle, and it's probable that in a few years, all those places are going to even be within the city. So, and how do we manage for to get the entrepreneur to dump in and use the fecal sludge treatment plant? Is the fecal sludge treatment plant, when it was built, it happens that the agency in charge of the construction of the treatment plant actually has no office the owner has no office in San Pedro. They are in charge of, there is a utility in charge of sanitation. They build the treatment plant. They are in charge of the operation. But they don't have an office and they don't have a presence apart from the technician running the plant. So that creates a really a gap because the plant was in the city and it was not, there was no coordination with the mayor office. There was no coordination with all the key actors that could, that has a say in the sanitation service. The second one is the way, the type of sanitation infrastructure in Bouake, I mean, in San Pedro, does not really require, because they're not built to the standard, they are the pit latrine. It's not the type of latrine that you'll regularly empty. You build them for years, and then when they're full, you close it and move. So those were the type of majority. So trucks will come from the capital to major offices like the bank, and then they will take the sludge. It's only when they need them that the vacuum truck will come to something. So there was, when we started the work, there was only one truck in San Pedro. So that's what I was saying, working with the association to make them understand, and working also with the collaborative framework. The objective of the collaborative framework is people need to see, and all the actors need to see sanitation as business opportunity. So we'll work with the Federation of the Vacuum Truck Operator, and give them with the assurance that and showing them, and this was not done directly by Uniwash, but is the authorities. We organize meetings with the authorities, and the authorities explain to the federation that there are opportunities in San Pedro, that they are needed in San Pedro, that there is a market in San Pedro, and that they are enforcing the construction of a different type of latrine in the new construction, and creating the market. On the other hand, they also work with the municipalities, also work with the manual emptier. That was the majority of the emptier were also manual emptier, and the manual emptier, as you know, they don't go to the fecal sludge plant. So a lot of sludge was removed, but manually removed and then dumped. So dealing with the manual emptier, ending the manual, reducing, because that also was done really with a lot of dialogue with the manual emptier, to the extent where some of the emptier got together to buy, to change the model and buy trucks. They make like a cooperative. So, so with all those, the actors create an enabling environment for that led to the result of the use of the treatment plant. So it is really critical that everyone played a part, that the government plays this part, that the municipalities plays this role. It's a lot of political, I mean, they look for a lot of political gain, and sometimes the municipalities has difficulties really to enforce in area where they have people who vote for them, so they have difficulties to enforce. And having that dialogue and working together, and having the presence of the utility also on site, doing the not only operating the plant, because now creating the talking with the different actors and persuading people to use the service of the vacuum truck was critical and key. For the police, for the police, I think is the same thing I was saying. maybe the corruption and continue in town, but political will is very important. The prefect sending the sign is very important. So there is a checkpoint between, there's a checkpoint on the way to the treatment plant. And every time the truck will go through that checkpoint, they have to give something. So it's actually easy to deal with such if there is the will, if there is the will to stop. So and this is actually what happened, because from the high authority, they received the instructions that that should stop. So that's how it was.
We're already a little over, so we want to answer the last two questions quickly. Or do you want to add something?
No, because of time. Okay. Because of time, let's be quick. Okay, so I would like to add something, but we can move forward. So the difference between the two countries, someone can.
I'm afraid I didn't understand the question from your question about the
cost efficiency
and
cost efficiency related to the treatment plant.
So my question was, if the utilization increased so much from 20% to 80%, how has that impacted the treatment plant's efficiency in terms of operations?
Okay. So to quickly, because we don't have enough time, the 20%, because of the technology used at the plant, the 20% was really detrimental to the plant. It needed a certain level of fecal sludge because using the process is using plants. So if you don't bring enough matter for the plants, then the system don't work well and they all die. So and those plants were replaced on a regular basis. So having really to increase the utilization and the quantity of fecal sludge coming to the treatment plant was really helped a lot the system to function as it was intended, and it reduced and helped the cost of running. Actually, the cost of running the system lowered because they don't have to replace and make as much maintenance that they used to make. But that being said, at this point, the operation of the system is still subsidized by the government.
Yes, because the government focus is to solve the public health issue. So this is the first focus right now. Yeah.
So although it increased, the treatment plant, the operation has not yet been happened. So the difference of implementation between Benin and Cote d'Ivoire, there are many. There are many. Benin and Cote d'Ivoire, because they are both colonized by France, have the same administrative organization. They are parallel and very easy to work in one country. I mean, when you know how it works in one country, it's really easy to know how it will work in the other one. So that was really that was a good point. But now when you come to the context itself, then you can see major differences. Sanitation is not viewed the same way in both countries. Satopan in Cote d'Ivoire will not work in urban areas. While in Benin, Satopan is a product that is been accepted by even in the urban area and the peri-urban area. The reason why, I mean, we try to understand really, but in the urban area, I should say that in Cote d'Ivoire, access to water is easy. Since the 80s, the cost for water is still the same. It has not been increased. So it's very cheap. Water is very cheap in Benin. So using the normal toilets, since water is not a big deal and it's not expensive, people continue. I mean, people use the normal toilet because they have access to water. The second one is also that in Cote d'Ivoire, in a city like Abidjan, we also have a sewer line. So you don't need you don't need a septic tank. You don't need to build a septic tank. You just connect to a lot of area of the capital in Cote d'Ivoire where you have the sewer line. That also is almost free and very cheap to connect to the system. So that makes the way sanitation and the sanitation product are adopted in both countries are different. So that's one key difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending. Thanks to the panelists. Merci pour la séance. I'm very happy to great, please.